friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and in today's video I am doing a TBR cart reset for 2025. I usually like to do seasonal resets, so this is really only going to take me in for January and February because March I will be doing a spring reset. So with that being said, I try to be really intentional with the books I picked for this cart because it would be amazing if by the end of February every single book on this cart was completed, like little check marks. We completed them all. We 100%ed the cart. For those who play video games, 100%ing things, 100% the cart. Okay, so with that, again, I was really intentional. I do have an overarching goal for 2025, which is to read my entire physical TBR. I have done the math. There is 7 months out of this year that I need to read 12 books from my physical TBR, and there is 5 months where I need to read 13 books from my physical TBR. And if I can accomplish that, then that means my whole TBR will be read by the end of the year. So with that being said, that kind of explains some of the picks that I chose for January, February, but I'm rambling too much, so let's just get into it. The way this goes, the top shelf is always my monthly TBR. This shelf is books that I want to read, and the bottom shelf are also books that I want to read. That's the organization. The first book we have for the bottom shelf is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I kind of DNF'd this book on page 200 and something. 204, chapter 19. Not for any negative reason, I just binged ACOTAR in this back to back, and then I fell out of the mood, okay? I'm a mood reader. I fell out of the mood. I put it down for now. Not a DNF, a down for now. And, you know, we'll get around to it. Again, hopefully by the end of February, I would like to accomplish it before I forget too much and then I start procrastinating, because that would happen to me. Okay, next we have Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. I read his first book and I really, really loved it. Everyone in my family has killed someone, rated it like 4.5 stars, I believe. I think the audio narrator did a great job for that one, but this one I will be physically reading. And it's just a very unique, fun mystery thriller. Well, more of a cozy mystery. This, I did one last book haul at the end of 2024 before going into this TBR project that I'm doing. And this I got at the Barnes & Noble 50% off sale at the end of the year. So very excited to read that. Next, we have Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This is a romantasy, and I kind of do have big fantasy plans for the next 2 months, but this one I thought I could squeeze in because it's under 400 pages. And also, I just love the cover. It is stunning and it is calling my name, and I love the way it reflects in the light. And it is a dragon romantasy, and I think after Onyx Storm, I will be craving another dragon romantasy to get my fill. So very excited to read this one. The next book I have, I think just has a permanent residence on my TBR cart, but that is changing this year. And that is Five Broken Blades by May Corland. In January, the sequel to this came out, which I think is called Four Ruined Realms. So it'd be great if I could read this so I could read the sequel before I forget things. But yeah, I was really intrigued when I got this all the way back in May of 2024 from Book of the Month, and I'm still intrigued now, and I really, really want to read this. So it is not coming off the cart until I read it. The next book I have is A Pirate's Life for Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is a cozy fantasy romantasy, and it is so good. This is the second book in the series. The first book in the series is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. Absolutely loved it. Rated it 5 stars. Been dying to read the sequel, but kind of been procrastinating because I'm a little scared it's not going to live up to the hype of the first book that I loved so much. But I still think I'll enjoy it. Even if it's not 5 star, I know I'll enjoy it anyways. So I don't know what's stopping me, but I'm very excited to read this one. The next book I have is The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst, another cozy romantasy novel. I bought this when it released back in July, and honestly, why July? This is not a July read, but this is a great, I feel like, fall, winter, spring read. Anything but summer. Like, this book gives me anything but summer. But I'm very excited to read it. The cover is so cute, and I've just been really into cozy vibes lately. Cozy mysteries, cozy fantasies, cozy everything is what I've been craving lately. So I think this one is going to be such a fun read to get done, probably in February, because January is looking a bit packed. Okay, now since this TBR cart is taking us into February as well, I do have some romances for this cart. The first one being Dream On by Angie Hockman. I bought this a while back and I never got around to reading it, but it has such an interesting concept. It's about this girl who goes into a coma and she has like visions of this dream man, and she wakes up and like, I guess he's not real, or it was, yeah, he was in her head. It was a dream, right? And then she works at a flower shop and he walks into her flower shop one day and she's like, oh my god, no, he's real. He was not just a dream. And I think that's her little meet cute moment. So it sounds cute. It sounds maybe a bit emotional. I'm very excited excited to read this one. I don't think I've read anything by Angie Hockman, so I don't know what to expect, but this resides on one of those little cubes back there. And once I complete this book, that whole little cube in which it resides, I can just do a little check mark. The whole cube will be read. And that is my goal, to have my shelves just filled with books that I have read and loved. So yeah, this will get me one step closer to accomplishing that goal of having a whole shelf complete. Moving on to the next two romance books, we have Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. I read the first book in this series, Secretly Yours. I didn't really love it, and I was not planning on reading this book, but I did find it at a thrift store, so I picked it up, and now we'll be listening to it via audio. So, you know, whatever. I found Tessa Bailey at the thrift store. I caved. I bought it. Should I have? Not really, because I'm not that excited about it, but I was excited in the moment, mainly because I thrifted it, right? Because if I saw that in Barnes & Noble and Target, which I have, I don't feel the need to buy it. But at a thrift store for $1, I'm like, get in my cart right now and come home with me. I think we would all fall into that temptation. The next book I have is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. This went viral for a brief moment, and that's when I bought it. And as soon as it went viral, it went unviral, and people don't talk about it anymore. And now I don't care as much, right? Because like I buy things when they're viral, and I have FOMO. And then I wait so long, no one's talking about them anymore, and then I lose interest. But February, we have Valentine's Day. It's a month of romance. This is about an OF model turned nanny, and I think the guy, the single dad, was like her biggest fan on OF, but like she doesn't know that, I think. Something like that, okay? I don't know exactly, but I think that's something like that. I'm excited. I think it'll be a cute, very spicy read. The next set of books are really books that I picked because I'm going to be listening to them via audio in order to accomplish this TBR goal, especially the 12 to 13 books a month. I really have to rely on some of my audiobooks mixed in with my physical reads. So the next set of books are books I'll be reading via audio. The first one being The Measure by Nikki Erlich. This book I bought because I thrifted it, first of all. I always planned on listening to this via audio when I first heard about this book, and then I found it at a thrift store. And I wanted a physical copy because I just assumed that I'm going to rate this very highly. Because this plot reminds me of the plot to The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin, which I love that book. It was one of the first adult books I ever read. You should go read it. It's so good. In that book, a psychic tells this group of kids when they're going to die or like how many years they have to live, and they live their lives according to that. Anyway, in this book, it's about this world in which people get a box on their doorstep that tells them like how many days or how much time left they have, or something about like their time left to live on this planet. And I think it's about that. So again, very similar premise. Love the Immortalist. Hopefully I will love this one. Next book I have is Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. I have officially owned this book for a year and have not read it, so therefore let's not wait any longer. Let's just get it read right now, and I will be doing this one via audio as well. But this was my January 2024 book of the month pick. Moving on, we have Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. Again, this is one I always planned on listening to via audio, found it in a thrift store, so it came home with me because just based on what people are saying, I have a feeling I will rate it highly. Kind of my method for thrifting books is like there's new releases I know of or books that people are talking about that I know of, and I will only buy them at the thrift store if I genuinely think I'm going to rate it like 4 or 5 stars, right? If it's one I'm going to take a gamble on, like I won't buy it at the thrift store. But something like this, hearing people's reviews of it and how it's a character-based book and it's really good, I think I'll rate it highly because I love character-based stories, and I just think I'll really like this. So that's why I thrifted it. And the last book I have for the bottom shelf is A Love Interest by Lori Gilmore because that's a different book series. This is Claire Gilmore. No disrespect that I almost gave credit to somebody else. It says falling for each other is the risk and the reward. I haven't really heard anybody talk about this book, and then randomly I saw Haley Pham rate this book 5 stars, and that's the only person I've ever heard talk about it. But it is a, I think, office romance, and this one I will be listening to via audio, even though I have to buy the audiobook, but I don't have time to physically read it. It just fits so snugly. Okay, now moving on to the next shelf. The book I have is another romance, and that is I'll Get Back to You by Becca Grishow. This is a Christmas romance novel, but I do want to complete it before the winter season is over. I'm not waiting till next December to finish this book because, again, trying to complete in a year, and I don't want to leave something to the last minute. So yeah, we have I'll Get Back to You by Becca Grishow, which is going to be a cute little Christmas romance. and I don't feel like January is too bad of a month to read Christmas romances. Like, we're not going to save it for July or anything. Okay, next is another book in that same vein, which is The Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson. I started the audiobook for this in December and I didn't really love it, to be honest, which is why I didn't continue, but I only got like 10% into it. I need to give it more time. But again, I want to finish this by the end of winter, so that is why it's on the cart. The next book I have is The Last One by Rachel Housel Hall. Now, this one I'm really hoping to read in January. I actually have already started this book. I started reading it physically and then I switched over when the audiobook was available from my library. My mom bought this for me for Christmas, and so I want to prioritize it because she bought it for me. But if I'm being honest, I'm 54% into this book on the audiobook. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it, but she bought it for me for Christmas and she was excited, and I need to finish it, okay? And I would like to finish it in January because my library loan is going to run out and then I'll be on a waiting list. And let's just complete it before that happens. Okay, the next two books I have are part of a series, and the third book in this series is coming out in March. So February would be a great time to read these two. And that is Legendborn and Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. I bought these when they released. It released in 2020 and I still have not read it. But I don't feel guilty because the third one's coming out in 2025, so why should I rush when she's not in a rush? I've heard really great things about them and I am just so excited to read those books. Next we have The Housemaid Secret by Frida McFadden. This book has been on my mind because I keep seeing TikToks of The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. People who are like the actors and actresses from the movies, like, right, promoting it, because I guess they're making a movie out of it. And every time I see one of those TikToks, I'm like, I need to continue the series because I really like the first book. So what better time to continue it than now, while it's on my mind, while there's hype around it. So yeah, we have The Housemaid Secret. I'm interested to see how this one goes. Now that we know how The Housemaid ends, like, what's going to be the shock and the twist of the other books in the series? I'm interested to see. So hopefully that goes well. In this book, I actually thrifted, look at that, a $1.99 from Goodwill. Okay, next we have my November Book of the Month pick, which is The Teller's Small Fortunes by Julie Leong, which I bought because I'm obsessed with the cover. It is absolutely stunning. This is a cozy fantasy and I bought it really because, again, the cover is stunning and I loved it. Next book I have is Odd Spirits by S.T. Gibson. I've never read anything by this author, but the plot to this just called out to me. And it's about a married couple and there is like a ghost in their house or something. I have no idea, but it was short, it was sweet, it was cute, it was 50% off. It called out to me, so I bought it. So there we go. That one I think I could definitely accomplish because it's pretty short. It's like 100 pages or so. Okay, and the next batch of books are all books I'll be listening to via audio. So keep that in mind. We have Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. This I got from Aardvark, and I also have access to the audiobook, so this one will get accomplished. This one is about someone in Hollywood who is told to kill off their gay character, and they're like, no, I'm not doing that, and then they start getting attacked by the demons that they wrote about in real life. And it's a horror novel, and honestly it sounds like a good summer read, but we're just knocking it off the list early. Next we have I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. This I also got from Aardvark. I don't know what it's about. I literally just bought it because the title just sounded interesting. It sounded like Scream, it sounded like Halloween, and I love those movies, so it called out to me. Next we have Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This one I always plan on listening to via audio, but I found this at a thrift store. Are you sensing a theme here? So I picked it up. Now, I will say, I am having a lot more restraint at the thrift store than I used to. I used to buy everything I was interested in at the thrift store and then just listen to the audiobooks, and then I realized, like, why am I doing that? Because if you're gonna listen to it via audio, just listen to it via audio. You don't need to own the physical book in order to do so. But some of them I will pick up again if I think I'll really like them. Moving on, we have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, another one I'll be listening to via audio. I've had this since it came out back in what, like 2021 or something, and it is a signed edition. So yeah, we have Under the Whispering Door, which I think I will enjoy. And the last book we have is The Storied Life of AJ Fikry, which is also a signed edition, which makes this edition even cooler, as I thrifted it. I thrifted this signed edition of The Storied Life of AJ Fikry, so that makes it cool and that makes me want to read it, and this one I will also be listening to via audio. These kind of like contemporary novels I tend to listen to via audio more so than anything fantasy. Like mystery thrillers I'll listen to on audio, horror I'll listen to on audio, but when it comes to like fantasy books, I just prefer to physically read them. Okay, moving on, we have the top shelf, which is my January TBR, so this will be a bit more rapid fire. We have, because if you want to see me talk about these books more in detail, go watch my January TBR video. We have In the Company of Witches by Aruli Wallace, a cozy mystery about witches, which is just, it's a fall vibe, but like, is it really a fall vibe? Like, I can read about witches any time of year. Next I have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, viral TikTok romantasy. I need to see what the hype is about. We have Bless Your Heart by Lindy Ryan, which sounds like a fun, campy horror novel. And horror, but make it camp, is my favorite. Next, I have Quicksilver by Callie Hart, another viral TikTok romantasy, which gives me emo baby girl vibes. I'm excited to read that one because I need to see what the hype is about. Because, like, honestly, does anyone love this cover? Like, if we're reading this cover, it better be a good book. Next, I have a Christmas book, which is The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmer. But I did put myself on the waiting list for my audiobook at the library, so I actually don't think this will be read in January because I'm just gonna wait for the audiobook to come in for that one, and it's like 11 weeks out. So we might just be reading a Christmas book 3 months from now, which puts us in April. But that's okay. Whenever the audiobook comes in, we're checking it off. Next, I have The Ministry of Time by Kaylin Bradley. I'm very excited to read it. This is a cross-genre book, spy thriller, sci-fi, romance. Heard great things about it, and I'm super excited to read it. I've actually already read the first chapter, and I liked the first chapter, so I'm excited to see how it goes. Next, we have The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. This one I am currently reading right now. I'm listening to the audiobook for it, and I'll save my review for my January wrap-up, but it's a little gross. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little gross, but like, you can't look at that cover and not think it's not gonna be gross. Next, I have The Resort by Sarah Oakes. I loved this book. Okay, you know, I'm putting something on my TBR card that I already read, but I already read this audiobook, and you know what? I loved it. I loved this book, and I wanted to own it. I thrifted it because I can't resist a pretty pink sunset cover, especially with a mystery thriller. I listened to it on a road trip that I did, and I freaking loved that book. Okay, next we have Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. And this is another really popular romantasy novel, and I cannot wait to read this one. This one will definitely be read in January, although I shouldn't say that because every time I say that I jinx myself and I don't do it. But people in the comments were talking about this book, and it's like a deadly game type of book. I just feel like I'm really gonna like it. I feel like I'm gonna binge it, and I just hope I am right in that prediction. Next, I have Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. And again, a viral romantasy novel. Are we sensing a theme with the things I buy? They're viral. Okay, that's what happens. I get FOMO because I start seeing them everywhere. Oh, this book, I forgot to put the dust jacket back on. But this was my January book of the month pick, and I'm currently reading it. So again, I forgot to put the dust jacket back on because I'm not a monster. I don't read with the dust jacket on. And that is A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. Here, I'll just show you that. This is a early release. It comes out in February, and it is about this woman who goes to her fiance. They get engaged super quickly into their relationship. He's from a really rich family. They go to this like remote mountain where this family owns like a bunch of land for Christmas. They're there for 2 weeks, and I'm not going to tell you anything else, but what I am going to tell you about this book is do not read the synopsis for this book, because the synopsis in this book tries to hook you in and intrigue you, like, ooh, look at this twist that's gonna happen, right? The thing that they try to intrigue you with in the synopsis does not happen until like 80 pages into the book. And it would have been such a cool twist if you did not know it was going to happen, because you knew it was going to happen. You're kind of just like waiting and waiting and waiting for it to happen so the story will get going, but it doesn't happen until 80 pages into the book. So I think this book is really good so far. I mean, I'm only on page 92, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I just wish I did not read the synopsis, because I think not reading the synopsis would make this book better. The last book that is going on the TBR cart is my aardvark pick for January, and that is Unromance by Erin Carter, which is a cute romance that I can't tell you anything about because I haven't read it yet. but I remember I was intrigued. It says, a recently dumped TV heartthrob enlists a jaded romance novelist to ruin romance for him one rom-com trope at a time, so he never gets swept off his feet again, ... Also, our main character, the girl, her name is Sawyer, and I don't know why, I just kind of love that name for a girl. Like a girl named Sawyer, kind of obsessed. So there you go. We have that book, which is going to go on the end. And there we go. Our 2025 TBR cart is complete until March when I do a spring reset on it. But for now, it is complete. And we'll see when I do my spring reset how many books of these I actually read in the next 2 months. Hopefully most of my January TBR and then a good majority of these. We shall see. But thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!